Hello, today our group 6 will be presenting our business idea, my guide for our INE group project. Our group includes I, Abhishek Sisodia, Bhupesh Dutt Pandey, Sanjay Srivastav, Komal Modi, Manas Pratap Singh, Ragini Mehndi Ratta, and Sanchi Lalit. So, what's my guide is? The idea is to leverage the unorganized tourism sector and create an application where the local tourist guide can easily connect to the tourist. So, did you visit a tourist place and miss something important? Do you want to gain knowledge and history about a particular location you visit? Well, then you would like to hire a guide probably. But of course, you would not like to be connected them asking for exorbitant prices. So this application is for you. Now, first, let us understand the basic for this application. So we would be looking upon our objectives. We would like to reduce the hassle of tourists of finding a perfect guide, and and also guides trying to find the customers. We want the tourists to have a comfortable tourism experience. Moving on to our mission of our application, we would like to create an hassle-free experience for both domestic and international tourists. When it comes to getting a tourist guide and learning about the place, we would wish to organize a tourist guide sector. And now we would looking to our vision of our application to help connect the tourists with their guide. And now moving forward, we would understand more about our application.
Now talking about the pain points on both the sides. Whenever hiring whenever hiring a guide, we face certain problems. Differential pricing, that is changing different prices to different visitors based on their bargaining power without any market regulation. Language, not finding a person who can speak your mother tongue or language you are comfortable in is a big problem. Criminal record of guides. We usually don't know the background of the person touring us around, which poses a threat to our safety. Availability of guides. Seasonal fluctuations of guides is a very common phenomenon. The rates vary accordingly. Even the time of the day also affects their availability. Finding guides during the late hours is a difficult task. Now, seeing the problems from a guide's perspective, the dominance of a few players. Few guides form a group and get away with a large portion of visitors, due to which the fellow guides are left with very little business. Fluctuating price. During the peak holiday season, prices increase highly, but during the off season, finding tourists is very difficult, and due to the no fixed price, there's a problem of bargaining. Language barrier. There is a gap between the language the customer is comfortable in and the language the guide can speak. This affects the business of the guides. Unavailability of customers during the off-peak time and the off-peak season. Finding customers is difficult. Even the guides have to wait for long hours to get some income. Now, coming to the situation shown below, we have depicted two situations. Many times it happens that a single customer is approached by many guides, or sometimes due to unavailability of guides, the prices they charge rise to a very high level. This is mainly due to a temporary shortage of supply. In India, we treat guests as a god, but these bargaining issues and being approached by so many guides can bring the country in a bad image. That's where we come in picture. We become the bridge that fills the gap between the tourists and the guides, changing the unorganized sector into an organized one. This application becomes the marketplace model for tourists and guides. Now moving ahead.
Now let's have a look on our application. Our application provides a simple user interface and connect the tourist with the guide in just three simple steps. First, need to choose the destination where he is planning to travel. There he will receive a message whether the guide is available at this region or we are extending their business shortly. Next, he can choose the guide on the basis of the languages known, what is his rating, and what is his rating and age. For female customers, we have female guides also available. All our guides are registered with the state's home respective states Ministry of Tourism. You can book the guide in advance or when you reach the destination. Our app also provides the feature of contacting the guide via the message or VoIP calling so that the contact details of our customer will be matched to the guide. Now, what are the marketing initiative and strategy for this? There is a rise in the popularity of the travel bloggers, and we need to capitalize on this popularity. We will rope in travel bloggers to promote our app on their social media channels. Next, we will have the collaboration with the hotels where tourists generally stays, and we can have a tie-up with the booking apps such as Oyo or Make My Trip or Trip Advisors. Next, we will promote our search engine optimization. So our app will be in the first recommendation when someone search for the travel guide at a particular destination. We can also make our presence felt by putting up small tents near the tourist guide locations, or we can also have the kiosk centers near the tourist centers. Now, we will also have our promotional post on social media platforms.
Let's answer a few basic WH questions which needs to be addressed before the start of any idea and propagation of the plan. Answering these questions would give us a clear-cut idea as to where we want to progress and thus help in defining the clarity of the project. Let's begin by addressing what are we doing. The answer as told by my group members is simple. We are providing a platform to book travel guides to ease the travel experience. Now, how are we going to achieve that? Simple. By simple mobile application, which lets customers connect with the guide. The next very important question is why? Because we feel that there should be a fair pricing and regulated system, and we want to improve the business for guides and support in the ease of travel for tourists. Who are we doing this for? Or who are our target market? They are the tourists visiting new places and local guides who will show them around. The last question is, where are we trying to operate? So this will be operational in tourist places, places with historical importance, and places need that a guide should be there, which should show us around.
After answering the basic questions of our being, let's move on to see what are the plans in terms of innovation, scalability, sustainability, and financial stability. Our innovative idea revolves around the organizing the haphazard tourist industry. Through our innovation, we wish to create opportunities and employment to the guides and comfortable traveling experience across regional barriers to the travelers. Let's get practical for a second and see if our service is scalable or not, and how we are going to scale it further. In the beginning, we will focus on the market penetration through our marketing and strategy. We will create different customer segment in our app and keep various packages for high frequency tourists. We will start in app purchases as we will grow, and we will plan some horizontal integration along the way. In terms of we tick all the boxes. India, being one of the richest heritage in the world, has high amount of domestic as well as foreign travelers. Tourism is an industry which is yet to realize its full potential, and therefore, through this initiative of ours, we will be able to provide employment and also help in increasing the footfalls of the tourists. Every business needs to earn money and sustain itself. Talking about the financial stability part of our business, as per the data collected by us, the Indian industry is expected to grow at 8%, and today it stands at 72 million US dollars. There is going to be a huge surge in numbers of international travelers, according to the reports, and is expected to reach 30.5 million by 2028. So we calculated that even if we keep our margins small and we are just able to tap at least 3 to 4% of tourists in the coming years, with a robust growth, we can be profitable well. The small commission will further reduce the cost and will allow the guides to join in and customers to pay. We have shown the detailed financial exhibit 2, which is at the end of the presentation. Now, I would invite SWOT analysis of the company and move forward with the presentation.
Now moving on to the SWOT analysis of the company. So its strengths are no major competition, as we do not have any very big player in the sector right now, and the low cost, as we are providing services at fair rate and setup cost for our company is very low. And we are going to get first mover advantage because we are the first tourist guide service in this market. Now talking about the weakness, adoption of technology, tourist guide will take some time to understand our business model and adopt it. This sector is too much unorganized. There's a lack of awareness in proper communication channels, so the sector is heavily unorganized. There's too much uncertainty in the sector as tourist sector is dependent on too many things, and any sudden change and occurrence like coronavirus-induced pandemic can wreak havoc on the sector. Now moving on to the opportunity part, huge potential in the travel industry. As cultural heritage and historical places are the main center of attention for many tourists, and India is a good spot for cultural visit. Pan-India assistance. In some year, we can expand our presence to whole India, to all the tourist spots present in the India. Now moving on to the threats. This model can be easily copied as our business model do not require any huge investment, so it can be easily copied by any other player in the market. And convincing guide can be a problem. Like convincing guide to give up the traditional ways and to join an organized marketplace is going to be a difficult task for us. And a change in government policy. Tourism is a lot dependent on the government approval and the subsidies and the advertisement provided by the government. And that's why if there's going to be any change in the government policy, that can get a walk on the sector. And now Sachi will explain the execution plan.
Coming to the execution plan, we choose a location based on the number of tourist location available and number of tourists that are available. For an example, we will start with Mount Abu, then move on to different location in the same state. We will also have to first educate the tourist guide about our app, and as an incentive, we will pay them. For an example, 100 rupees as a joining bonus. Our marketing channel would be a mix of online channeling, social media influencer, trip making website, and offline channels will include hoardings and tie-ups with local hotels and restaurants. In the first year, we will be short on cash due to starting expenses like app development and marketing, etc. From next year, we will try to expand to different locations, leveraging the brand image that we built in the first location. The assumption for the slow growth is limited funds and revival of the economy. Now coming to the roadmap ahead, we can have two types of models for revenue generation. Premium model in which apps are free to download and have two types of feature. Basic ones that are free to use and premium ones that the user need to pay for. The goal is to give user possibility to try out and enjoy all the premium feature, hoping he or she will further pay for upgrading. And the subscription model where subscribed a user will be charged a certain amount of money on the regular basis, be it monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. It is also common to provide a trial period before getting users to subscribe. Then we will try to all over Rajasthan within a span of 18 months, and we will keep a target to hire 150 guides within a year. Now, Ragini will explain the exhibit.
Talking about the financials, assuming that in the first year we will be associated with approximately 150 guides, we expecting the joining bonus at 100. Assume that 15,000 would be the joining bonus expense. The commission to guides to be approximately 80% to the revenue to be assumed on the base of the business plan that has been discussed earlier. Accordingly, marketing expense can be approximately 7 lakhs. And primarily the platform making charges or the maintenance charges for year one would be subsequently higher as the subsequent years for the year one. Total counting would be our total expense to be approximately 41 lakhs 72,000. We higher than the revenue, so our profit before tax would be on a loss for year one. However, in the subsequent years, it will increase and it will become to a positive profit. Thank you.